One of the most amazing novels I've ever read is Time's Arrow by Martin Amis. I won't give away the story in case you ever want to go back and read the book. But the reason why it is so amazing in my mind is that everything in the story happens backwards, but you read the story forwards. So it doesn't matter if you start at the end and read to the beginning, or if you start at the beginning and read to the end. All of the dialogue makes sense and flows together elegantly. It is a remarkable achievement for a full-length book to be able to do something like that. But as amazing as Time's Arrow is to me, it will always remain a story that's outside of me. It's a story that I can read and enjoy, but it's not one that I will ever enter into myself. The Christian story is a remarkable achievement on a whole other level. It's a story that was written over hundreds of years by scores of different people. And then, generation after generation, the story was kept alive. It was recopied, it was preserved, it was retold. It's a story that is centered on love. And it lifts up marginalized people. It very often scathingly criticizes kings. It's amazing to me, it's miraculous even, that the Bible even survived all these years. Well, the scope of the Christian story is epic. It begins with the poetic reflection on the creation of the world. It continues until time passes away. But the most interesting thing to me about the Christian story is that it is participatory. On every page, there is an invitation to you and to me to enter into that story ourselves and to keep writing it, to live out that story with our very lives as we move through this world. One level in which we participate in the Christian story is merely by being born. God links us in to this grand epic of the creation of the universe by making you as well a unique and special act of creation. That's a gift to the rest of the universe. The story of creation that began at the very beginning of the formation of the world, that continued with the creation of Israel, with the calling of Abraham, and then developed even further with the creation of the church, with the life of Jesus and the gift of the Spirit. That grand story continues with you. You are deeply connected to all of creation, the people around you, and to God. You're joined in with that great Christian family. You're joined to those names that are now famous, that we read about as we read Scripture together, but you're also joined together with all of the other people who have participated in the Christian story, the people who lived out their lives with tenderness and love, and maybe the world has forgotten their names. But God doesn't forget anybody's names. Everyone is remembered by God. We are all God's children. But we're not only linked into this story by our creation. God comes to each and every one of us and invites us to make the Christian story our own, to embrace it, to flesh it out in our very lives, to live it with the words that we speak and the actions that we take. Well, this morning, Kinsley Monrovic and her family are marking out their participation in the Christian story through baptism. Kinsley is entering into the life of Jesus, participating in Jesus' story, undergoing the same baptism, and beginning this life of embodying Jesus' teachings as she moves through the world. Well, today, as we celebrate Kinsley's baptism and her participation in the Christian story, each one of us also, God invites, to remember our own baptisms, to remember this call that we had to live out this Christian story, to make it our own, to continue it with our lives. God's story is not finished yet. God is using each one of you to continue to write it. How will you join with God this week and continue the Christian story?